it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great Saturday as when this video is being recorded. Today, we are doing a channel called History Lord with Lord Hume. Reached out to him. Like I've said in other videos, you're probably getting tired of me saying, but I used to do his videos without asking. I'm not proud of that. And he has so kind to give me his blessing to continue. So today, I really enjoy his channel, so I really encourage you to go to his channel and like, subscribe, do the things that I know you guys do. Every little bit helps. And today we're going to look at a tour of Warwick. Now, again, just like with Norwich, you have some problem with W's over there. They look great in the actual name, but no one wants to pronounce it. I'm kidding, of course, but this is another one. No W is pronounced, so it's Norwick, right? Or Norwich and Warwick. Or if you just want to combine them, it's Norwick. Anywho, tour of Warwick, and I'm not quite sure I know where this is located, as my geography of the island is not the best. So I couldn't really tell you exactly, like I could point to it on a map. And I feel a little ashamed saying that out loud, because you'd think, thank you. I want to thank you all for putting up with my heater. I appreciate it. Once the summer months kick in, full swing, that'll be turned off. But you guys are amazing to allow me to have this professional studio out in my side of my living room. As soon as my children move out, the last of them anyway, I might be able to get his room to do these. That'd be cool. Anywho, what was I talking about? Well, I don't even remember. But anyway, go support History Lord. It's really important. Tour of Warwick. I don't know where it's at. I'm ashamed. That's what I'm talking about. I'm ashamed that I don't know off the top of my head where these places are located. And I wish I could just do a study of a map on my own time to learn where all these places are. But I don't know. It's tough. Come with me. Big Fake Couch. Tour of Warwick. Here we go. Go support his channel. Let's do it.
Welcome to the History Lord. You join us here, and we're at the bottom of Mill Street in the county town of Warwickshire, which is Warwick, would you believe? And just up the road here in Mill Street, they're laying some cables or something, so there's a bit of noise behind us. But today we're going to have a wander around this medieval town, do a little circular. One of our longer videos today, so we're not going to tell you everything about Warwick, because that would just take hours and hours. So short video, just to give you a glimpse of the county town of Warwickshire. The castle itself was founded by William the Conqueror in 1068.
I know that name.
Wooden Motte and Bailey Castle. And it was in the 12th century that we got the castle behind us, which I think is rather magnificent. It's one of the finest examples of a medieval castle, not just in England and Great Britain, but I think in the world as well. I think it's now owned by the Two Swords Group, or the Merlin Group, who own Two Swords as well. And it's a great tourist attraction. So if you want to find out anything about the castle, come here, have a look. It's marvellous. We're going to head up Mill Street now, and I'm going to take you around into Jury Street, and we'll see another few interesting buildings along there. See you in a mo.
Yeah, that castle looks really cool. And that looks more like when you hear the word castle, that's kind of what I imagine, right? The one we just looked at, Tamworth, had, and yeah, there was other parts to it, I imagine, through the years that have kind of just been replaced, but the castle, the main castle itself, has that just the full-on circular shape. This one here looks a little more like what I would imagine a castle would look like. And yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I know in this video he's not going to go into detail of the things that we're seeing. We're not probably going inside of any of them. Those are just going to have to be other videos for me. That is not a problem for me. And if any of you see something that, you should do a little more a video on this place specifically, yeah, let me know in the comments or send me an email. I'd be happy to take a look. And now here we are. This is the Tudor construction. It's pretty unmistakable style. Like I had mentioned in the other video, I'm still trying to grasp the different techniques of how things were built back in those days by the different periods. And but the one thing that is consistent with all of them is that they're built to last, and they stick around a long time. And it's just truly remarkable that you have so many of these buildings. Now, granted, you all have taken, and you and of course the powers that be have all taken the precautions of not just tearing down things all the time, which is so weird because here in the States we tear them all down. Obviously, if it has some major historical things, they are saved mostly. And we're, size-wise, like the continent itself is so large that you think, we would be able to save a lot more of the older buildings because it's not like we're short on space here. And you being an island with some limitations on how much of a sprawling thing you can do, you've kept all of your buildings. That's hats off for sure. And I am so grateful you did, because it gives me something to come see, and just the history, right? The history.
So we're wandering up now Jury Street. We're just passing the excellent Fusiliers Museum.
Fusiliers.
And this is our first building of note in Jury Street. And this is the old Civic Hall, the old courthouse. It was built in 1725, and it was Francis Smith who was the designer.
Must be around Christmas time.
I understand there is a wonderful old Georgian ballroom in there now as well. The offices now are the local tourist information. So if you want to find out anything about Warwick, come here. I've always got lots of information for you. And incidentally, the site for the courthouse here was given by Robert Dudley in exchange for another place we're going to see just later, which is the Leicester Hospital, which is just down there. But before we do that, we're going to wander around the corner, a few more wonderful medieval buildings. So this way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to go back here. Just it's interesting. You saw the different, style of buildings just on his little walk up the sidewalk. You have this above the door here that's pretty remarkable. I know this video is just a brief kind of introduction to the town, city of Warwick. So it will pique my interest. So if you have other videos of things that he's gonna briefly talk about, that goes into far more in depth, yeah, shoot him my way for sure. And of course, if any of you who live around here or in the city of Warwick town, is it a town or would it be considered a city? And I know there's a definition, whether it has something, and I can't remember, but and I even think we've done a video on what makes a town and what makes a city, but we'll see. But it's Now, this building is now a tourist, like a visitor center, if you will. Love the windows, too. And just the stonework here. It's interesting.
Before we do that, we're going to wander around the corner a few more wonderful medieval buildings. So this way. So we're now walking down Castle Street.
Why is there netting? Is it to keep birds out from nesting in there, probably? That's a bummer that you have to do that. They didn't think of that back in those days, I guess. What a cool statue, though. It's like a courthouse. Law has something to do with law. It's like Lady Blind Justice, right? The scales. Definitely the netting is to keep birds out and other creatures, I imagine. It's wild.
So we're now walking down Castle Street, and I thought we'd stop here. There's a plaque here. We do love a plaque on this
tunnel.
tunnel.
I love plaques
This is
too.
to mark 1100 years of the town of Warwick, and as it says here, it was Athelflaed. Athelflaed? I never can pronounce.
Wait a minute. We learned about Athelflaed in the last video with Kevin Hicks in the History Squad. He talked about the Tamworth Castle and Athelflaed. Are these near? Are these two places near each other? That was Stratfordshire, right? And this is Warwickshire. Okay. 914 to 2014. Now we're 2024. Dang. And that was that was 1100. Hmm. 1110. I'm trying to read the plaque. Maybe he'll read it for me.
It's medieval names, I'm afraid. But she was the daughter of Alfred the Great, and she founded this town in the year 914. It was on an earlier site. They believe there was a lot of activity on this site for years before that, but then it was decimated for whatever reason. I can't find out why. But she built the town here, slightly higher up, but on the banks of the Avon, and it was to try and repel the Danes.
That was the scenario then as
Conquest
well.
of the Viking Dane law secured the creation of the Kingdom of England. So, well done to this lady here. Now, if we go back a bit, so just back a bit, there we are, thank you. If we pop into here very quickly, this is Pageant Garden. And just a nice little oasis in the middle of Warwick, at the back of the museum and the back of the Tourist Information Centre. It's just rather nice, isn't it? And quiet and lovely. And if we go out here, have a wander around here, back into Castle Street, go past the dispensary, which is where they used to hand out alms to the poor people, and right in front is now a tea room. This is the Thomas Oaken tea rooms, and there's another plaque up here we can have a look at. Which side is he going? There we are. Wonderful. Oh, before we have a look at the plaque, have a look. Marvellous medieval alleyways we've got along here. All down there. It's a very atmospheric place to come, is Warwick.
I'm all peeking around the corner.
And there we are. It's another plaque to Thomas Oaken.
Gosh.
As it says, he died here in 1573. He was a great benefactor. He left money in trust to help the poor of the area, and I think some of his money is still in the trust and it's still going strong today. But it's wonderful. Anyway, we're going to go back up into Drury Street, turn left, and did you know that there was a great fire of Warwick? You didn't? Let's go and tell you about it. So we're wandering back down Drury Street, and we come to here. This is the Warwick.
I imagine there was a lot of great fires of everywhere, right? nothing was built to code. There was no health and safety back then. A lot of things made out of wood. A lot of fires probably go unattended. People cooking and whatnot, and yeah, it's man back in the old days had such a battle with fire everywhere. But yeah, you hear a lot of places in England talking about great fires. Of course, the most notable one is the one in London, right? So, but so far this town is very what's the word I'm looking for? Quaint, I guess. Still tons of history, like everywhere. Ethelford, oh God, it's hard to pronounce her name, but she was featured in the last video we watched, so she was instrumental in the kingdom of the Great Britain and repelling the Danes, right? I think that's the one we're talking about. And she has a history up in Tamworth as well. Interesting. I love how, unbeknownst to me, the two videos end up somehow getting linked together.
Unitarian Chapel. And I'm only pausing here because it was behind here on the 5th of July 1694 a fire started in the afternoon. It raged for about 5 hours, but after those 5 hours, most of the centre, the medieval centre of Warwick, had been razed to the ground. After the fire, it was decided that all the houses, in fact most of the houses, would be 2 stories or less in height. There's a few of them that have extended up into the roofs, but that's fine. When they were first built, they were 2 stories, and that was the rule for many, many centuries afterwards. Now, if James does a swing round now and has a look right behind him, that is the Lord Leicester Hospital, and that is our next stop.
Oh,
Follow me.
That.
So here we are. This is the Lord Leicester Hospital. It's a 14th century building.
Look at that.
And it's never actually been a hospital in the sense as we know them. It's actually a retirement home for ex-service men of Warwick. The building itself comprises of the chapel to St Nicholas the Great, if I remember rightly. There's the Master's house. There's also a great hall as well. There's also a museum in here to the Hussars, and there's also a lovely garden and cafe as well. It's well worth a visit, but I've got a little bit of a passion for street furniture. You may have noticed this with some of our videos in the past, like, you know, farting lamps and things like that. But let's go down and see one of my passions, which is down here.
I think I'm really am fascinated by the Tudor style. Just, of course, it's iconic. It's very recognizable. I just love how it's just not perfectly square, and things tend to lean and stick out over the street or the sidewalk or whatever. And it's really, really interesting. I'm not going to go out and say that, I'm, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over the Tudor style, but it is probably, if I had to choose, if someone somehow was going to present me with the question, what, period of building would you, prefer to look at, it would probably be Tudor. If I was forced to answer, they're all pretty incredible, but it's just, I love just the imperfection of it. I think makes it perfect.
Yeah.
Plus it lasts, just like everything
looking
else.
rather cosy with, I'm going to have to read this here because I've not seen this before. This is created by the Escape Art in Stitches group, and it's marks the coronation. And there you see you've got the insignia of Charles Rex. And here we are. It's
cool.
Adorning this very rare post box from 1856. It's a Victorian Doric column, or it's representation of a Doric column, and it has a vertical slot, not a horizontal one. There's only 8 of these left in the entire country.
No.
And 2 of them are less than half a mile apart here in Warwick. So they're like buses. You wait for ages and 2 of these Doric column post boxes turn up at once. The design after this was changed from vertical slots to horizontal, because in vertical slots the rain sometimes got in, so they changed it to horizontal, and that's it. But a very rare piece of street furniture. So here we are now at the market hall.
Incredible.
Most market towns had a market hall. This one was built in 1670, and it was William Hulbert who was the instigator of this, and he was a local butcher. It's now a nice little cafe and a museum. It's a free entry museum, so it's well worth a visit. But James, if you'll follow me, we're going to go around and meet another resident who's a bit more modern. So down here, past all these lovely shops. These are Georgian and Victorian in era. And the statue's not being fenced in for any reason apart from they had an event here the other week and they haven't got rid of the barriers yet, so that's all it is. And so we're now entering the market square. There's a pub there, the Tilted Wig, which still serves a brew called Abattoir, I think.
Love it. Tilted Wig.
There's another famous pub chain up there that has another pub. Lovely little bookshop, as always. And just across the road there, we won't go and disturb the family that's there at the moment. Just across the road there is a statue to Rudolf Turpin, who was a boxer who lived in the local area. And he was reputed to be the best middleweight boxer in the 1940s and 1950s. And in 1951, he beat Sugar Ray Robinson to win the middleweight world title. He had other brothers as well, who were all boxers, but Randy, as he was known in the States, was the most famous. Sadly, when he gave up boxing, it didn't agree with him, and he had mental health issues. And sadly, in 1966, he committed suicide. But they've put a statue up to him. He was a local
right from
hero.
the head trauma.
And there
CTE.
he is, Randy Turpin. We're going to go that way next. Slightly risque. We're talking red lights and women's prisons.
What?
So we're now wandering down Barrack Street, and this was the red light district of Warwick. Back in its day, there was quite a few regiments billeted around the area, and so this is where the chaps would come for some of their fun. But the building here used to be the women's prison, and if you look really closely, don't have to look that close because it's just here, this is one of the original doors of the women's jail.
Oh, that's cool.
It was destroyed.
Original outer door of prisoner's cell, formerly within the county jail, rebuilt on this site 1695 following destruction of the original building by fire. There it is, 1694, and remaining in use until 1861, and that's an original outer door.
In the fire, and it was rebuilt in 1695. Wow. And as it said, remained in use until the 1860s as a women's prison. Now, James, if you just do a quick spin round, there's a lovely old building there with a sundial on the one of the parapet, or one of the gables there. That used to be a pub called the Lamb and Flag, a pub around about 1905, and I think around about that time it was split into two houses that they are now. But there you go. Going around the corner, there's a county hall, a gorgeous street, and a church that sadly got scaffolding on. So let's go and have a look at that. So we just wandered round from the old Warwickshire Hall, which is where the county was run from, and the courthouse. And if James inserts a little video of what shot around there, there's the emblem,
James.
A bear, and that's what people from Warwickshire are called. They're called Warwickshire Bears. So that's what I am now. I'm no longer an Essex calf, I'm a Warwickshire Bear. It does give us a leave to come past here. This is St Mary's, the Collegiate Church of St Mary's. It trains vicars and priests and all this. There was rumours at one point it would become a cathedral, but it's still just a church. Being renovated at the moment, and there's a little museum in there as well, which is open to the public even whilst the renovations are going on, and it's still at certain times of the day. Now, this is called Tinker Tank Alley. It's called that because of the sound your shoes used to make on the cobbles down here. Tinker Tank. There you go. We're heading up here now. We're nearly done for our little wander around Warwick. There's a few more things to see. So let's go down here. And I did promise you another post box. Well, it may look similar to the one we saw earlier, but let's go and have a look at the other 1856 Doric column postbox. Let's go. So we're now heading towards the second of our Doric column pillar boxes from 1856. And this one is here by this magnificent building. Another 14th century edifice. This is
cool.
The East Gate, and this was part of the Warwick wall defences. So the wall went all around the town, and this is the East Gate. It was, I do think it was turned into an exclusive Airbnb recently. So if you want to come and stay here, you can. We're going to head through this little archway now. There we are. Information about the pillar box there. Wonderful. Coming to more medieval, wonderful buildings. There we are. So looking straight down behind me, this is Smith Street, and Smith Street was a little shopping street in Warwick now. Lots of medieval buildings along here. Lots of little coffee shops and barbers and there's antique shops, etc, etc. Not going to take you down there today. Got one little last stop, which is just down there, and that'll be our Warwick wander for today. Come this way. So that's it. We're now back to collect our car. We're in St Nicholas's Park, and that's St Nicholas's Church. We've not told you everything about Warwick, because I think you should come here and find out for yourselves. There's lots of lovely things to see. There's another museum just down end of Smith Street to the Hussars, the park as well. There's lovely riverside walks along the Avon as well. But there you go. Thanks for watching today. Do hope you enjoy these videos.
I do.
If you do, please subscribe.
And I will.
Want to see what I
already
do.
Did.
Now that I'm semi-retired, you can still go to historylord.co.uk. That's not a problem. Have a look what James does though. He's really good. He's behind the camera, and that's Last Line Films, YouTube, TikTok, and his website as well. That's it. I think we should go and film another one, don't you, James?
I think so.
Jolly good. Right. The carriage awaits.
The carriage. I really enjoy Lord Hume and his videos. This is actually one of the longer ones. But I thought it'd be cool because I don't think I've seen Warwick, and granted, it's not a walking tour per se, where it's an hour long or however long it is, or a full-on in-depth thing, but it does peak. He did a great job, at least for me, who's interested in the architecture and the medieval history and that sort of thing. Of all the, highlighting a few things. I love those mailboxes. I love the crochet. Is that what was the work that was on? Someone had sent me a Facebook link, which I'm rarely on Facebook. Oh, I keep forgetting. Yeah, there's a Mark from the States Instagram. Go check it out. I haven't really done a whole lot with it because I'm not the best at social media, but I intend to put up more of the stuff that has been sent to me. Anyway, it was on Facebook. It was like a Facebook group of these people knitting or crocheting or something. I can't remember exactly what, but it was just pretty interesting. But those tops that they had on top of the post office, those things were really cool. Yeah, the town... He has certainly, with this video, piqued my interest of wanting to see Warwick. Nice that we had the tie there with Ethelbert. Oh, God, what was her name now? See, why won't this work? Why won't you work? Forgot the name already. Anyway. You know who I'm talking about. That was also featured in the last video we did. Pretty nutty. Pretty nutty. But yeah, the Tudor style buildings, love. And
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
We're going to go ahead and cut that out. But yeah, I enjoyed his video. Please go support History Lord. It's important. He did say he was semi-retired. When I reached out to him, he was so gracious to, of course, give me his blessing to be able to do his videos, or continue to do his videos for that matter. He even offered to give me a tour of London, which, you know, I guess that was his main gig, was walking tours of London. And I'm just so blessed. He doesn't know me, you know. I'm sure, you know, I'm sure maybe he offers to a lot of people, who knows. But I just, regardless, I am blessed that he would even say, if I come down there, hit him up, he'd be happy to come out of retirement and give me a walking tour. I just may take you up on that, Lord Hume. I just may do that. Please go support his channel. So important that you do so. As always, I hope everybody is happy, healthy, and safe. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been a busy one today. All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. And he's from